Show. Kangaroo Show. Kangaroo Show.
All right!
कण कण कोई कनक कोई भनक कानो कान दिया.
Wait! Before we get into this film, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button right at the bottom. Tumbbad.
We did it.
We did it. It's a 2018 horror Indian film. You guys have been like, you gotta review Tumbbad. We were like, all right, we got you. You know, when you become a subscriber to Mostly Wrong Opinions, we have your back. All right.
We're listening. I swear we're listening. But we got a schedule. We got what we're working on. I swear we hear you.
It starts off where you see like the sculpture moving, and they're talking about the goddess who created the galaxy. But one god was like her favorite god, and this god was like a greedy god that wanted to keep all this gold that he has himself. But the other gods wasn't liking it.
Right, it was her son.
Yeah, her son. She protected this son in her womb.
So after our introduction, where we learn about the god Hastar and how greedy he is and how he managed to get all the gold in the universe, but he wasn't able to get all the food. After we learn all that stuff, we are introduced to this family that's in the rainy city of Tumbbad. We don't know this yet, but this is a family of shitheads. And as the movie goes on, we learn exactly why. This family has one major flaw, and it seems like it might be hereditary. And it is greed. But that's not necessarily how we're introduced to them.
These two little boys and this mom. And his mom goes to this dude's mansion who owns this mansion. She is his mistress.
Right.
And she's doing things to him. And I was like, what is she doing in there? Is she a handy mandy?
Yeah, exactly. She's a mistress to this rich old geezer who she's got to give, as you say, handy mandies to. And she's only doing this so that she can get some coin, man. When are you gonna give me the gold? Please give me the gold. I've been doing this for years. Can you give me the gold? And then she comes home and the kids are like, did you get the gold? And she's like, nah, I ain't get the gold.
But I got carpal tunnel.
She might have got that. You're right about that.
Go ahead, sorry.
But during all this, there's like a soft snoring in their house. And you're like, what is that? And we realize grandma, or actually it's more like great grandma, is asleep in the other room. And grandma she looks like a demon, and you gotta feed her while she sleeps. It is the strangest, most like fantastical thing. And that's essentially what this film is. It is a dark fantasy film, which I love so much, so dramatically different from the other Indian films that we've seen before. I feel like the music really set the mood. I was like, wow, this movie's got some awesome music. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but man, the music is great. It really sets this like overbearing, eerie mood. And we learn the reason why it always rains in Tumbbad is because this is where the greedy god Hastar lives. And all the gods have cursed Tumbbad because of his presence with rain. Non-stop rain. Tumbbad is a muddy, slushy, nasty place. It's a hard place to live. Apparently this is a real village in India, so I wonder how they feel about their village being depicted like this. But it's a great setting for a horror film.
Or a rock band.
Or a rock band. Yeah, exactly. Could be a rock band. You play in the rain every night. That'd be great. That's it.
Now everything has changed. I'll show you along.
Her main character's name, it looks like Vinayak. I know some people call him Rao. Yeah, Vinayak. So if I'm mispronouncing that, my apologies. At his house, there was a terrible tragedy. His little brother falls out of the tree, and his mother's like, oh my God, we gotta take him to the hospital, get him some help. And the little boy, curiously, this is where we first get our hint that maybe this might be a family of shitheads here. Little boy, while he's concerned about his brother, he's much more concerned about the gold. Because that same day, the old geezer that his mom was, giving the handies to died. So he's like, yo, so shouldn't that guy's my father. Like, you're his mistress. That's my father. Don't we live in the mansion now? Like, shouldn't we go get the money? That's our mansion. It's our money. Yeah. Mama, did you get the money? And his mom is like, your brother is in a very serious condition. Can you shut the F up for a second, please, and quit talking about this money? And he's like, yeah, okay, but the money might help out my brother. Yeah, exactly. Got to get the money, baby. And so she, yeah, that's right. And so she has what I thought was the most ridiculous overreaction. She's like, you can never come back to Tumbbad, never again. And she's like slapping him around and all that stuff. And I'm like, dang, what the heck? That's kind of an abusive mother. But we learn why he can't come back to Tumbbad. Hastar, the evil god who's gotten all the gold in the world, he seems to have an unlimited supply of gold, lives in the well at that castle. It's heavily implied this is how the old geezer that mom was working on, this is how he got his money, by going down into the well and stealing the money from the god. And so the mom can see that her son has that same quality, that same greedy quality, that he will do anything, even try and trick a god into getting some money. So she's like, never come back.
He comes back. He's an adult. He's like, you know what? I'm go say hello to great grandma, which is still alive.
She's still alive.
Became a tree.
Yeah. Because now she's immortal. There's another little wrinkle is that when you get bit by Hastar, you become endlessly hungry, endlessly sleepy, and you never die. And that has happened to grandma.
He's like, how do you get inside? He's an adult now. And he's like, how do you get inside the mansion? And she's like, stay away from that. she's like, stay away from that. And she's like, you don't want anything to do with that. You're going to end up like me.
She also said, I know you won't listen because you're my blood.
Yeah. You're my blood.
Which I thought was key.
And he burnt her and everything. He went inside. They didn't show you exactly where he went inside, but he's been out there for a long time because he's been searching because he had a long beard. He came in clean shaved and long beard. He came back and he started, buying up the bar. You know what I'm saying? He started going to the strip club.
Yeah, that's right. Going to the opium den, having a good time. Yeah, that's right. Spending that money, getting him some mistresses himself. You know what I mean? He had a little fancy expenditure too. He bought himself a record player now. Okay, so I'm sure in 1930, whatever, that was like, oh, holy shit, that was some serious stuff. So he was out there balling. You know what I mean? He's have
children over the years. The British Army is in there. They kind of like bribing his friend. He's basically like, well, where does my friend get all this money from? I need to know where he gets this money from.
Because the movie's playing it coy. All this stuff with the god, we don't know 100% yet. The movie's playing it coy, how he's getting his money.
He ends up buying a mistress for his friend, and he basically tells her to keep him here while I go see where he's getting this money from.
Keep him busy. He goes, keep him busy. You know how to keep him busy. You know what I'm saying?
Keep him busy.
Here's a 50 rupees. Keep this man busy all weekend now.
I mean, I don't care if you get carpet turn in both hands. Keep him busy.
Keep him busy.
So he goes out there. He's searching where this mansion and stuff where he's been. He's like, what is going on? And then he's like, okay, I have no choice but to show him where it is. He goes down into what they call the womb of the earth.
I liked how when they went down into the goddess's womb, the whole film changed. It was like suddenly it went into like this surreal thing where you're surrounded by this like flesh, and it was weird and creepy, and there's a demon crawling around on the ceiling. Like, I was like, what is this? The movie just went, it took a turn. If you coming, you coming. And I love that.
Remember, the demon is always hungry.
He tricks his friend into thinking that he's gonna go find all the treasure, all the gold, that it's just like sitting in some chest or something. But no, he's got to essentially earn it by tricking Hastar, which his friend doesn't know.
He basically sacrifices his friend.
We know that this time period is very familiar from the movies that we've been watching. So we know that in the background, Gandhi's doing his thing. We know that the Indians are fighting for their independence. Like you said, there are British soldiers there occupying the land, and about halfway through, they're leaving. There are times, because our main character is wealthy, the Indian people, they want his help. They're like, hey man, can you throw a little coin towards the revolution? And he's like, whatever. He is so deeply uninterested. He hand waves Gandhi. You know what I mean? So this is what I mean by like a little family of shitheads. There is something so much bigger than him happening in the background, and he could not care less. He only cares about getting the money. So I thought that was really interesting to have such a main character who, again, within context of what's happening in India, is such a scumbag. I love that. I hate nice guy characters, but I love scumbag characters. Fun stuff.
And throughout this whole time, we actually see the introduction of the monster at that time. He basically has to distract the demon with the dough and then grab the coins as much as he can and then scurry back up there and get back up.
Right, because the demon's dropping coins out of his loincloth as he's eating the dough.
This repeats over. 14 years passes by. He has a couple daughters. His son is a little bit older. And now he's teaching his son how to do this dangerous shit.
Yeah, because he can't do it himself anymore. He's trying to practice.
He's getting older.
And he's getting older. His body's starting to fail him. Just like the guy in the beginning of the film who was getting the handy by his mom, too old to go down there anymore. So he's like, I'm gonna send my son down to go tangle with the demon. Like, what a scary person.
Horrible greed throughout the whole
gosh. Thing. And his son's all about it. He's cool with it.
Yeah, his son's cool about it because he see his father. He sees his father up here living the life of luxury.
Exactly. He wants that. Our main character's money is running low. And he's like, look, I know that you're not quite ready to do what I need you to do, but we got to go anyway because that needs some coin.
By the way, the land was going to be bought out anyway.
Right. They're going to build like a school or something like that. Yeah.
So that was one of the main reasons why he was rushing to try to get more of the coins.
I really liked how all these real heroes, like real life heroes, were operating just out of frame. You know, like the entire Indian Revolution was happening just out of frame. Gandhi was doing his thing just out of frame. A sad irony is if our main character had paid attention to the revolution that was going on, he wouldn't have had to do this desperate thing at the end. Because he could have just bought the land. They insinuated he could have just like bought the state. That's how much money he had. If he'd actually worked with the revolution and worked with the new Indian government instead of just ignoring it. So I really enjoyed a lot of the themes in this film. He takes his son over to the castle and he's like, this is just a test run. We're not gonna bring the dough down there. I'm just gonna show you how to make the dough. I'm gonna show you everything. Meanwhile, his son doesn't really understand why he's making dough and diving into wells. He doesn't really understand any of this stuff. And so his son keeps a little dough boy with him, little dough boy tucked in his pocket, you know? And when they get down there, they see the demon and his son is like, oh my God, what the hell? And his dad's like, chill out. We ain't had the scary part yet. Okay, we're good to go. He can't come in here. He won't even attack you because we don't have dough. It's all good. And little boy's like, I brought some dough. And dad's like, you motherfucker. He's like losing his mind. And so now they got to fight their way out. And what's key in this scene is there's a window where they throw the little doughboy. It's small, so they don't have much time.
Small window.
And they can climb out. But the little boy is like, I'm getting the money. And he goes after the money instead of going after the safety. And his dad, of course, they get out, but his dad slaps him around for that, which is funny because that's the exact same personality flaws that he has, you know. But so he can see the personality flaws in his son, but he seems to be unable to see it in himself. And it really helps bring home the theme of this film, passing down some really bad personality flaws. And in this family, they pass down greed.
By the end of this film, you know, he definitely needs one big score.
Of course.
While he's beating up his son had an idea and said, you know what? Why don't we just steal the loincloth?
Yeah. He was like, how come we don't just throw multiple dolls and steal the whole loincloth? Leave the god down there butt ass naked. They thought they could outsmart this demon.
He was like, yeah, that might work.
Right. So they have a little celebration before that where he brings his son to the opium den with all these, like, I guess prostitutes around. Like, I was like, oh my God.
Hey man, going down to Club Diamond, boy.
Club Diamond. Yeah, the Pink Pony, having a good time with like his 9-year-old son. And his son's just enjoying himself. I'm like, what a terrible parenting we've got going on right now.
So they end up getting back down there, and they made multiple dolls this time, and they're like bringing out each doll and stuff.
And they're giddy while they're doing it. They're like,
they're giddy.
You know, they're having a good time.
And they bring out one, they bring out another one, and they keep bringing out more and more. And then the father looks up sees the demon. Oh, so this demon again. And then another demon comes from behind him. And then another demon comes from behind him.
Yeah.
And every single time they bring out one of those dough dolls, it's a dough doll for each demon.
Each demon, right?
Like, oh!
They thought they could outsmart this demon, but they could not. They had no clue what they were dealing with. They were trapped down there. They were like, we do not have enough dough dolls to distract every single one of these demons. Like, we're not getting out of here. This is it. Like, we fucked up really bad.
He basically threw himself over to the demons, grabbed the loincloth where all the coins in it. As he's doing this, he's getting bit, of course. And then he climbs up. They both climb up out of there. The father, he is looking like his great grandmother did.
Yeah.
And he is like, "You here? Take it! Take it!
Take the loincloth! I got it!"
And the father said, "This is what you wanted." And he's like, "No,
yeah,
no, I'd rather have you."
Exactly. The son learns the lesson that his father never learned, that there's more to life than money. And once he realized that his son understood it, that, you know, the apprentice had beaten the master, he smiled. The little demon father, he smiled. He was happy that his son finally learned the lesson.
And then he lit his father on fire. I thought this film was insightful. I thought this film was beautifully shot. I thought this film was acted well.
I think what really helped this film were like the themes were really, really strong.
Yes.
Like when the movie starts, when you have the voiceover and we're looking at this like crappy CGI like thing, and I'm like, I was worried. The movie actually circles back. We don't realize initially that the voiceover was our main character speaking to his son, right? So they actually make the voiceover make a lot of sense. They take an extra step that a lot of other movies that have like what I consider unnecessary voiceover, a step they never take to really explain to you what you just saw and why there was a voiceover. And so I really like the themes of greed.
I'm gonna have to give this film an A because I really enjoyed every single frame of this. The person who shot this film knew exactly what they were doing, and it was a simple concept of you greedy. You're greedy.
Exactly. Okay. How far will you go with your greed? Loved it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I'm giving this one an A. I really enjoyed it. And whoever this guy is, well, we'll show us his name right there. He's got fantastic taste in movies. This was right up Devin's alley. Loved it. I really enjoyed this like twisted, dark fantasy. I liked going into this, what felt like a completely different universe. And I like that they still had these very relatable themes about greed, about family. I think it was Bahubali where we talked about how there were some things that just kind of went over our head or we just really couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
I attributed that to just, being an American and not really understanding the culture. None of that was present here. I've never heard of this god, Hastar. Apparently they made him up for the film, and it didn't really matter because the movie explained his rules very well, explained the themes very well. I feel like I understood our characters, and I liked that our main character was just a greedy son of a bitch who would put his own child in harm's way for a couple coins. Like that to me, that is fun.
So would you recommend this film?
I would recommend this film. I think this is a really good film. Full disclosure, we saw 2 movies this week. We saw Beau's Afraid and we saw Tumbbad. And for me, this might be 1 and 2 for the 2 best movies I've seen this year. So I really enjoyed Tumbbad quite a bit. I enjoyed it way more than I thought. And I liked that I went into this movie completely blank. I had no clue what this movie was. I didn't know what the tone was. I didn't know the genre. I thought that. So my experience watching this film was a lot of fun. So I do recommend this.
Yeah, I also recommend this film. This film came out in 2018.
And you know how I was saying before, how like you should never be nice to your characters. I mean, was this filmmaker, was this writer cruel to this guy or what? Like in the beginning of the film, they literally threw his brother out of a freaking tree. You know what I'm saying? Like they were very cruel to him, and he dies being burned alive by his own son. Like that's freaking fun. I love that stuff, man. I love science fiction. I love fantasy. and I love well-written characters, and we have all that here.
Put your characters in peril, man.
Yeah,
That's how you get stakes. That's how you get a grounded film.
Yeah, yeah.
More importantly, do you recommend this film? Have you seen Tumbbad? Please get in the comments and let us know what you thought of it.
Yeah, and suggest some more. Keep them coming. This is a really great suggestion.
Yes, we love all the suggestions that you guys put in the comments, and thank you so much. For real, thank you.
If it fits in our schedule, we will watch it. Personally, I will watch anything. I don't give an F. I will watch anything. So if you got a suggestion, let us know, and we'll fit into the schedule if we can.
Thank you for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you. And if you are new to seeing our faces, please hit that subscribe button right at the bottom. It's right down there. Do you some good, all right? And if you did like this rating and review, please hit that thumbs up because it really does help out the channel. Or you can hit that thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion, but just remember one thing. It is mostly wrong. Now go out there and give some handy-mandies.
Please don't do that. Don't do that.
Bye.